Onyx is the latest from Pop Evil. The first single from their third CD, Trenches, went right to #1 on rock radio. With over 500,000 digital singles, 1,000 shows, and some changes in the band, Onyx is Pop Evil's best work to date. The website is popevil.com. On Twitter, you can hashtag PopEvil. You can find Pop Evil on Facebook. Onyx is available wherever legal digital downloads are found. Please welcome Leigh Kakaty, lead singer from the hottest rock band in the nation right now, Pop Evil. Leigh, welcome to the Marc Berman Show.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Okay, so this band is pure piss and vinegar rock and roll, stirring every emotion. This is rock the way it's meant to be delivered. Do you credit the masters of Michigan rock, Mitch Ryder, Bob Seger, Kid Rock, Ted Nugent, we'll throw in Eminem, as influences, or do you have others who shaped you musically?
No, there's a lot of them. I definitely credit the Michigan scene to a big influence on us. I mean, even if we didn't think it was an influence, I think just growing up in Michigan, there's so much pride for rock music, and it's just something that's instilled with us at such a young age. And I think that's very apparent with our band.
It's crazy, but back in the 60s, when I was growing up, Motown was huge, and the rock scene in Michigan has really overshadowed that. We don't want to discredit that, but there's been so much great rock that came out of that state. It's incredible.
It really is. I think just that blue-collar mentality that is the Midwest is just very alive in Michigan, obviously in the Motor City with the adversity that's going on in Detroit with the bankruptcy issues. It's definitely people are, don't have a lot to really embrace other than family and family traditions. So music has definitely become very family-oriented up there in Michigan.
Well, I want to congratulate you on Onyx. This is a very well-produced album. And when we say that on this radio show, we call it downloadable. We encourage people to purchase the legal download, put it on your smartphone, put the headphones on. You will absolutely love every second, and you can even crank it up. So who produced this?
Johnny K. It's our second album with him. He just did such a phenomenal job. I think when you have an opportunity to work with a producer, it's always a unique experience, but when you get to work with, the same guy twice, it was just awesome. It was gelling. It was finally the record I guess we always wanted to do with the band in a position where we could do that. Our first record we did with Johnny, it was more like him kind of telling us what to do, and our first rodeo, so to speak. And this time it was the other way around. It was like, look, Johnny, we're the ones that have to play these songs for the rest of our career. We're only putting the best of the best on this record, and if the songs aren't good enough, we're going to go back to the drawing board and write till we get the songs we believe fit an album and put together a collective piece of work. And so we did. It was awesome.
Well, you're in good company. He's Mr. Megadeth.
He is. He certainly is, man. He is the man.
Trenches went right to #1 on rock radio. When you first played this in your rehearsals or in the production studio, you had to be excited. You knew this was a kick-ass single right from the get-go. Am I right? Give me your feelings.
Honestly, it was. We were going to do it as a bonus. I had it in a dream. I woke up with the dream with that riff in my head. So I woke up. It was actually our old guitar player was with us at the time. I woke him up. I was like, "Can you play this on the guitar? I'm going to sing it for you." And got it pieced together. And then we came time to do a little bonus track on More of Angels. And we were like, "Oh, let's do Trenches," and it just wasn't really coming together in the studio. So, I said, we looked at the band, looked at the managers, and we're like, why don't we hold this song and not rush it? And we decided to do that, thank goodness. And then, re-demoed it when it came time for the Onyx record. And, we knew that it was cool, it was hooky, and then when we got in with Johnny K, the music started to evolve. We originally thought that the first single was going to be Deal with the Devil. We thought for sure that was the first single. And as we, started to hear the produced and the final version of, Trenches, it was like, wow, this speaks volumes to where we are in our careers and to what we've kind of been going through with adversity, with our old labels, to old band members. It just felt like Trenches. More and more we heard it was like, this is the track here. And so it wasn't exactly right out of the box, the main one we thought, but as it got more polished, we knew that, that was where we wanted to go.
Well, it's a multi-purpose track because you can jump rope to it, like in the video.
Absolutely.
You can jog, drive, run, or you can play slot machines, because that's what I do when I'm listening to it.
I love it.
I live here in Atlantic City. Okay. You have a song on Onyx that will touch a certain part of humanity. and that's those of us who lost a loved one. I lost my mom.
Sure.
Tour reflects on your dad, who was your best friend. He passed away.
Yeah, 2011 during the War of Angels run.
I listen to this song. I think about my mom. It brings a tear to my eye. It's a ballad. Is it hard for you to perform the song without losing it?
You know, it was at first. I mean, it's just it's become more of a positive thing about my father. You know, it's just, if he was here, you know, in the flesh, I know that would be one of his favorite songs. He always liked kind of the softer ballads, you know. He always grew up with me on the acoustic guitar, so the heavier stuff he loved. But, you know, you wouldn't find him too often listening to Trenches in his car. He would have been listening to the ballads, you know, so it just reminds me of him and everything that's positive. It just, you know, it's just one of those songs that everyone kind of deals with death differently, you know, and I just try to stay positive about the matter, and, you know, you can't change it. I just feel blessed that I had the time that I got to have with him, and felt the Lord was very good to me and my family with giving us such a good father, and I just try to think of the good things now when I sing it.
Awesome. By the way, I like the name Pop Evil better than 10-5.
I love it, man. you know your stuff. Yeah, it was just, you know, a band that can go from Trenches and go from Torn to Pieces, a band that can throw with Three Doors Down and two with Five Finger Death Punch is kind of what Pop Evil is about, man. It's just about being honest with yourself. Sometimes, you know, all my guys felt like breaking windows and turning the amps up to 11, and sometimes, you know, we feel like getting the bonfire going with some marshmallows and getting the acoustics out and playing some ballads, man. And just being able to do all of that, like STP once did and Black Crowes used to do. That's kind of where our name came from.
Hey, were you surprised to hear your music at a Red Wings game?
Yeah, at first. You know, now we just get texts all the time to play this stuff, which never gets old, by the way. It's always fun since I will never get to play 1 minute for in the NHL. I guess having your songs played is the next best thing, right? So take it.
I got a couple more seconds with Leigh Kakaty from Pop Evil. Your social consciousness comes out in Trenches and Divide. Is some of your music a result of just being alive today?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's definitely what you try to write about, things you know. And I think as you get a little more mature in this game, you get better at understanding who your fans are and not just being selfish writing about yourself. You write about, you know, what some of these people are going through, you know, to have the faces now or the people that are singing your songs nightly and coming and supporting your band. You know, you try to write with them in mind. So sometimes, you know, different struggles and pains that people deal with, such as deal with the devil. You know, people deal with a lot of demons. They deal with a lot of substance abuse issues. And, you know, we wanted to take a more positive spin by taking some dark topics that, you know, we might have been a little more intimidated to write about in the past. Now we're, you know, as the band grows, we're more willing to open our eyes to, you know, more, I guess, unflattering topics.
You know, besides the music, which is absolutely awesome out of the box, it is rock and roll today. Your lyrics are also right up there with your music. And let me quote, okay? It's so messed up to be yourself when you're never enough. And then you go on to say, but I'm alive. And that's flawed. And that's actually, and that could be one of my top 2 cuts on the
Sure.
album. Okay?
Love that song.
Did you write this? And
Sure.
should we all take a look at ourselves? And I just want to thank you for writing it.
Oh, that's such a huge compliment. I appreciate it. You know, just again, I try not to get specific on what it necessarily means to me because I don't want to, you know, segregate anyone who might, you know, mean something a little different to them. But you know, I guess a little insight on that lyric, what the band was going through. It just felt like no matter what we did, no matter what top 10 songs we had at radio or all the hard work we were doing, it just still felt like there was always someone in the biz that was like, well, they're not on this tour, or you know what, they haven't sold this amount of records yet, or they hadn't done this. It just felt like, are you kidding me? Are you a rock star? Well, you're not really a rock star. It's like, what are you kidding me? We've given up our whole lives for this. What else would clarify that? You know what I mean? So it was just a lot of frustration that I know we were dealing with both on and off the stage. And but at the same time, we felt very humble and very appreciative of the fact that we are a radio band in the United States of America, the greatest place to be in rock music. And it's definitely hard. Out of the millions of bands that, you know, want to be played on the radio, we're definitely one of them from a small town in Michigan. So definitely try to be grateful that we're alive.
Amen, brother. You guys toured with Judas Priest, and I think Whitesnake may have been on that tour. You toured with Seether, Three Doors Down, Papa Roach. You're going to be here with Papa Roach. Buck Cherry. Which tour was the most fun?
Man, they're all fun. They're all unique. It's fun to see what different bands do. I mean, obviously right now we're with Papa Roach. It's amazing. I think it's definitely more fun in a different way right now because the band's the biggest it's ever been. So Nightly now, to not be the baby band, so to speak, to finally be a band that's kind of graduating and coming into its own slowly but surely every day, becoming more of a household name. It's definitely more fun for us now, especially with all the radio hits we have. Nothing is quite like Trenches. Trenches is just Nightly regaining strength, and to see a song, come from, my bunk in a tour bus to now one of the biggest songs we play live is definitely an insane experience to live through. There's no doubt about that.
Now, you're on tour right now. Summertime is over, and you're playing. I look at your schedule. You're playing almost every night. In fact, where are you calling from right now?
We're calling from North Dakota. Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Good stuff. And it is freezing and rainy here. So.
Well, you're calling from North Dakota. You're playing every night. Is there a stage or venue anywhere in the world that you really aspire to play? A stage you want to walk out on and go, holy crap, I can't believe I'm here.
Madison Square Gardens would be, of course, one. New York, of course. It's all the nostalgia. Obviously, Wembley Stadium in overseas. And then, a hometown one, which is Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where they came from, I think would be really, a full circle moment for the band, just because that was always the big venue we would go growing up and watch our favorite bands. So those are just a few of the ones I can name off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's tons more. There's just so many that we've already played. I know Red Rocks was a very popular one we all wanted to play, but we got to play that one. We got to play that one of our first tours when we toured Judas Priest. That was so we've been pretty blessed.
You did play Red Rocks.
We did Red Rocks, sold out. It was insane.
Final question: is your music really evil pop?
I don't know. You'd have to. I guess that's in the eyes of the beholder. I never really think of it like that. It's just, but I guess in some ways maybe it is. I guess if pop played rock, right? Then it would be evil pop.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way I interpret it. I mean, your music is cha-ching to me, meaning it's music that sells. And to sell, you have to have some ingredients, including, even though it's hard driving, piss and vinegar, rock and roll, you still have to have hooks. And that's part of pop music.
The big thing for us is hooks. It's always, if the band members aren't singing it, then why will our family sing it, and why will our fans sing it? It's got to be catchy. And it's got, it's got to be, we call them one listen records in our tour. So it's got to be able one listen. You got to be able to be humming a melody.
And we do, and your music is absolutely great. But Onyx took you to a new level, man. This is an unbelievable CD. You need to download it. Go to popevil.com. This is Leigh Kakaty from Pop Evil. Thanks for spending a few minutes on the show.
Thank you, man. And all the guys are all excited. They're all hanging here. So all the guys say hi too. So thank you so much for having me on.
Are you looking for something that sucks less on the radio? Search is over now. You got a new place to go.